My name is Alyssa Garcia, and today we'll be going over the 1 mile jogging test and the Rockport walking test assessments for this cardiorespiratory fitness. The purpose of the assessments is to assess overall health by evaluating the cardiorespiratory fitness and determining the maximal rate of oxygen uptake, or also called VO2 max. Both of these assessments are considered submaximal tests. What that means is that a submaximal test is not up to maximal effort, and maximal oxygen uptake is taken through heart rate measurements. Maximal tests, on the other hand, require you to reach volitional fatigue, and you need special equipment to measure VO2 max.
First, we start with the 1 mile jogging test. So we need a 400-meter track, paper and pencil, a stopwatch, a scale, proper running attire, and an optional heart rate monitor. If a heart rate monitor is not readily available, how to take heart rate measurements will be explained later in the video. A 2 to 3 minute warm-up should then be completed before beginning the assessment. Completing a good warm-up prior to jogging enables blood and oxygen to actively flow through the muscles in order to prevent injury. Once the warm-up is completed, it's time to begin. The target population for this assessment are people between ages 18 to 29 years old. The approximate time of completion is around 8 minutes for men and around 9 minutes for women. After finishing, take heart rate by using the first 2 fingers of your hand and feel for pulse around the carotid artery. Once pulse is felt, count pulses for 15 seconds, then multiply that number by 4 to get your beats per minute. Since it's a submaximal test, maximal heart rate should not exceed 180 beats per minute. Next is the Rockport 1 mile walking test assessment. For this test, a 5 to 10 minute warm-up should be completed before starting the assessment. A longer warm-up is needed in order to stretch the muscles and also enable blood and oxygen to flow through the muscles to prevent injury during the walk. Once the warm-up is completed, it's time to begin. The target population for this assessment is for people between the ages 20 to 69 years old. It is also good for the sedentary and older population since it's only asking for walking. So remember to walk 1 mile as quickly as possible, but not jog or run. After finishing, immediately take heart rate by using the first 2 fingers and feel for the radial artery, which is along the thumb side of the wrist. Once pulse is felt, count the pulses for 15 seconds, then multiply that number times 4 to get your heart rate. To solve for VO2 max for the jogging test, we use the 1 mile jog formula. To fill in the missing variables, we use my data. My body weight is 140 pounds, but to convert, multiply pounds by 0.454 in order to convert to kilograms. My final jogging time was 9 minutes and 56 seconds, but to convert the seconds to a decimal, we divide 56 over 60 because there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So the division gives me 0.93 minutes, so my final time was 9.93 minutes. My final heart rate was 168 beats per minute, and for gender, since I'm a female, I will use 0. Then, plug in the values into the rightful variables, also following the correct units. Next, multiply each of the 2 values above the V's so that we follow the order of operations. Bring down the product below the V so that we can subtract next. Finally, subtract starting from the left and work your way to the right, bringing down each value as you go. The final value is the calculated VO2 max. So for me, it was 43.44 milliliters per kilogram per minute. So for a 21-year-old female, this VO2 max is classified as excellent. To solve for VO2 max for the walking test, we use the 1 mile walking formula. To fill in the missing variables, we use my data. My body weight is 140 pounds and we keep it in that unit. My age is 21 years old. For gender, since I'm a female, I use a 0. If you're a male, you use a 1. For my final walking time, it was 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Remember to convert the seconds to a decimal by dividing the seconds by 60 since there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So by doing the division, my final time was 12.75 minutes. And then my final heart rate was 164 beats per minute. After that, plug in the values from the data into the rifle variables by also following the correct units. Next, multiply each of the two values above the V to follow the order of operations. Bring down the product value below the V so that we can subtract and add next. When it's time to subtract, start from the left and work your way to the right, bringing down each value as you go. The final number in the box is the calculated VO2 max. So for me, it was 46.6 milliliters per kilogram per minute. For a 21-year-old female, the VO2 max value is classified as excellent.